Hello, fellow Good Omens fans. Before I begin, I would like to state up front that I will be discussing accusations of SA, though not the details, so if you may be triggered or disturbed by that, you can jump to the timestamp marked The Future below. I think it's finally time for me to address the allegations against Neil Gaiman. First of all, I'd like to briefly explain why it has taken me a little while to say anything, and why I'm choosing now to break that silence. I've been dealing with some personal issues entirely unrelated to any of this news, and I've not been in a great place mentally. I even missed the majority of IneffableCon, though I managed to attend my own and my friends' panels to show them support. But regardless of my own mental health, with the release of the 5th podcast today, August 1st of 2024, I feel I need to say something. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here's a very quick rundown. In early July, a little less than a month ago, as of the release of this video, 4 episodes of a podcast by Tortoise Media were released that detailed the accounts of 2 women who were accusing Neil Gaiman of SA. This news spread into the fandom rapidly and caused quite a commotion. I'm not going to get into the details of the accounts themselves, but I have listened to them in full. I want to acknowledge that the source, the producers and creators of that podcast, are affiliated with the right wing of British politics, including Boris Johnson's sister. There was some speculation about politics and the timing of the release of the podcast, and the fact that a lot of hate seemed to be drummed up by unabashed TERFs. There were accusations that the podcast producers were using these women's stories for their own political agenda, which is pretty gross behavior towards SA survivors. This 5th podcast, released today, August 1st, details one more clear account of SA and another account that, at the very least, helps to establish a pattern of behavior on the part of Neil Gaiman. Again, I'm not going to go into details, and I will not tell you what you should or should not believe. Although, if you are able, I always recommend you listen to all of the accounts yourself and make up your own minds. What I do want to talk about is what we can all do going forward. I mean, I'm left asking myself, how can I even move forward in this fan space? What does this mean for the future of Good Omens and the future of the fandom? I suspect a lot of fans will find themselves in similar mental binds. I want to be entirely clear that first and foremost, my heart goes out to the survivors of SA. They must not be ignored. But this message, the reason I'm making this video, is to talk to you. Yes, you. Whatever you feel about this, it's justified. I don't think that there is any one right way to feel about something like this, because for many of us, Good Omens is more than just a property that we enjoy and love. For some, it rekindled a spark of creativity, getting them back into writing fan fiction, or putting pencil to paper, or cursor to pixel. Having run the talent show, I know the depth of attachment people have to this universe. I've seen fan-created content that made me literally weep. Good Omens has helped uncounted numbers of queer and neurodivergent people feel seen and represented in a very positive way. It's helped some people come to grips with their own personal religious trauma. And many of us have made friends, people now near and dear to us, and so a part of our own identities has become tied up in Good Omens. To those folks that say we've developed an unhealthy parasocial relationship with Neil, I say they entirely misunderstand the situation. I think the majority of us have very little relationship to Neil. Our relationship is to the world of Good Omens and the characters in it. So if someone accuses you of that, dear viewer, please feel free to tell them to bugger off. And yet, here we are, bound up in this love of a world that is now associated with someone accused multiple times over multiple decades of horrible things. Whatever you think of the story is your right to think, and the pain you may be feeling is also valid, and it's okay to feel it. Don't let anyone shame you. Here's the one thing I know for a fact. We're an amazing fan community, and you are an amazing fan. It isn't Neil that makes Good Omens special, it's everyone, all of the real people, and the real love involved, from David and Michael to the entire production crew, right down to you and me. There's always debate in these situations if fans should continue to support the thing they love, and there's no easy answer to that question. If you no longer feel comfortable associating with Good Omens right now, you shouldn't be shamed. I would hope that we all, the whole fan community, go with you in spirit. If you do feel you can separate the two, Neil, from this work, particularly as we know that Terry Pratchett had such a large part in the creation of the world as well, then you should also not be shamed. It's a more personal decision than pundits on the internet sometimes make it out to be. Sir Terry Pratchett was a very vocal advocate for social justice, for every minority group, every one of us who felt like a misfit, for everyone to be allowed to be unabashedly themselves. Humans take. They plow with iron, they ravage the land. Some do, I'll grant you that. Others put back more than they take. They put back love. They've got soil in their bones. Granny Weatherwax, Lords and Ladies by Terry Pratchett. And I do think that's us, Good Omens fans. We put back love. We have soil in our bones. We will take Good Omens and continue to turn it into a force of good, to show love and acceptance and friendship. So what does this mean for me and the future of this channel? I love Good Omens. I've made so many dear friends in the last year, found so much creativity and joy, and so I will go on making Good Omens content. It will be more heavily interspersed with other things, as I mentioned even last week, like Hazbin Hotel or I Saw the TV Glow, but that isn't because I value Good Omens even one molecule less today than I did a month ago. I also know that there's a lot of concern in the fan community about the future of the TV show. As of today, we haven't heard of any changes in the plan. As far as we know, Season 3 is still greenlit, the scripts are almost done, and filming is still set to begin in January of 2025. I'll keep my ear to the ground and report anything I find out if there are any changes. It may feel almost inevitable at this point. However, if Neil is removed from the show, I do think it's entirely possible for it to go on. For one thing, Rob Wilkins will still be there, as he has from the beginning. Michael and David will still be there portraying our favorite angel and demon. The art department, the sets, the costume designers, the other actors and extras. This world is so much bigger than Neil, and in my opinion, it is completely able to continue on without him, if that were to happen. My point is, fellow fans and viewers, that as a fandom, together, we'll be okay.